How are you? This is Fatima Fernandez. Yep, it's Fatima Fernandez for Colorado. Yeah. I am coming on live because we have a pope. Oh my goodness. And I just need to share my wisdom about the pope. Um, so, you guys, I can't wait because I am launching Harmony. Yes, I am running for Colorado governor. I'm a candidate for governor on the Harmony platform. And this platform is, we're not going to take sides, dude. No, 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 no. No, no, no. I'm running to mediate. So this next year, we're mediating this political election. We're not taking sides. We're not red. We're not white. We're not blue. We're harmony. We're forward. We're moving forward. Harmony rising. Um, so today I wanted to talk about the Pope because I'm here thinking about law and politics, and I'm a paralegal and a mediator. And I'm thinking about harmony and what's the philosophy behind harmony. So the possibility that we are building with harmony is we are going to reignite society to live in harmony through bold, faith rooted leadership. Why do we want this? Because we, I don't know, 3 years ago when I ran for, I think it was 5 years ago, I started noticing the fractures of our political system. And something in me just was motivated, to make a difference and to break this divide. And if it wasn't for my friend Daniel Natal, who actually was the first podcaster who let me on his show, I was really afraid, number one. But he let me into his show, and the last thing he said was, "You should run for office." I'm like, "Oh no!" And then at first I was like, "No, no, 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 no! I'm not running for office. No, 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 I'm not. No, no." But anyways, um, so harmony. We're not taking sides. We're building harmony, and we're going to reignite the middle. So if you're someone who votes Democrat, votes Republican, doesn't always vote, then you're going to want to join Harmony and join my mission. Hey, how are you? Yes, Jesus loves me. Jesus loves you too. Harmony is for Jesus. Yeah, we're going to bring unity back. And we're going to unite not just Coloradans, we're going to unite all Christians. Yay! Okay, so the Pope, legal philosophy. So what's coming up for me? Um, what? So we have an American Pope. Isn't that awesome? Yay! Is that the first American Pope in history? Who knows? Who knows their Catholic history here? I'm curious. Is he the first American Pope? That's really cool. Um, so I think we're gonna be seeing more clarity, at least clarity and truth. We Americans, we're funny people. Um, and so, legal philosophy. Pope Leo the 14th, Robert Francis Prevost from Chicago, the great state, the great liberal state of Chicago. So, what's his legal philosophy? His legal philosophy is he's pastoral, constitutionalism. Yes, that's such a thing. So, like Pope Francis before him, Leo the 14th appears to prioritize pastoral care over strict doctrinal enforcement, meaning he'd likely lean towards interpretive flexibility in law. Okay, now I'm going to tell you my philosophy. So I had a discussion with a priest. Yeah, it was a holy discussion. It was great, and my enthusiasm was so amazing. Um, and he said that I was a positivist, and I'm like, me, a positivist? And it got me thinking because I hadn't thought about those words in a long time. So, so I had to think, am I a positivist? I don't know. Maybe not a pure positivist, but I'm definitely a compassionate positivist. Okay, so think of it like this. So a pastoral constitutionalism is a constitutional judge who reads the law in light of present day human dignity and social realities rather than only through on originalist intent. Okay, I'm an originalist. I am a strict constructionist. Most strict constructionists are originalists, but not all originalists are strict constructionists. Do you understand? I'm also a legal formalist. So if I were a judge, which I would never be a judge. I cannot just sit on the bench. I need to be on the court, you know. Um, I need to command that court and influence. No. I'm not the judge ordering the court. No, that's not me. But anyways, Marla, as a judge, he might lean more like Justice Breyer, a pragmatic, concerned with outcomes and people's lived experience, but with moral spine grounded in tradition. So at least he's grounded in tradition. You know, I mean, we gotta give him credit for that. What else is this pope? He might be more social doctrine jurisprudence. Yeah. So what does that mean? So it's a social doctrine jurisprudence. His admiration for Pope Leo the 13th, his, his namesake, signals a commitment to the Catholic Church's social doctrine, concerned with the common good, workers' rights, economic justice, and family. That's good. He would likely issue rulings that weigh the dignity of persons and the preferential options to the poor. Seeing law as a tool for structural justice, not just individual rights. I don't know. Um, maybe that's, I don't know. As a judge, he'd be like a mediator. I kind of like that. Judge, bringing together opposing views and writing majority opinions that honor the multiple perspectives. So if he were a judge, he would be the temperament calm, wise, pastoral, like a moral philosopher in a robe. And his style would be long, thoughtful, ruling, weaving together tradition, context, and human stories. And his weakness, every pope has a weakness, might be might frustrate uh, legal purists who want cleaner, stricter lines. In other words, he might frustrate the traditional community. So keep on praying, tried Catholics, because he's going to frustrate you the heck out of you. um, so that's what's turning up, and about me, let's see. I went today to a over to to an event over at the Wings Over the Rockies, and I got to talk to, mingle with, political people in the government of Centennial, and I shook hands with them and told them all I'm running for office, and some people signed my petition. Yeah, I have my petition. So I need 10,000 folks to petition so that we start this Harmony Party, and I run on Harmony. And I got to hang out with Bennett Rutledge. He's running for mayor of Arapahoe County. Is that Arapahoe? Yeah, I think it's Arapahoe, right? I think so. So, what am I going to say? I am here today to say that Pico is a nice lady. And she told me that she's all for Harmony. So, I just want to let her know that if I win, once I win the governorship, she's going to be working with me. It's going to be Fatima Fernandez and Pico. So I said, does Harmony sound good to you? She said, yeah. So that's a positive sign. I'm going to be talking to all these leaders, and we will make sure that they know. So what else do you want to know? Are you Pakistani? I'm not Pakistani. I'm Cuban. Have a great day. I don't hate Islam. We are half brothers and sisters. We come from Abraham, right? Right? So, no. I don't hate anybody. God does not like it when you hate anybody. You gotta love. Love your neighbor. I have something to show you. So, Harmony is rising. And I don't rise for power. I don't rise for party. I don't rise for anything but harmony. I rise for mothers who've been silenced. I rise for fathers who've been ignored and forgotten. I rise for children who just want peace. We rise not to divide, but to unite. We rise not to conquer, but to serve. We rise not to hate, but with hope. And we rise together. We don't rise alone. We rise for harmony. We rise for Colorado. We rise for each other. One law, one love, one future. One law, the Constitution. One love, our neighbor. One future, our children. We don't need chaos. We need clarity. We don't need more noise. We need more courage. One law, one love, one future. That's Harmony Rising. And that's why I'm here. Not left, not right, but forward. I'm not running left. I'm not running right. I'm running forward. Forward with faith. forward with freedom, forward with family, not to fight, but to fix, not to rule, but to rebuild, not to blame, but to bless. I'm not here to play politics. I'm here to build a future. Not left, not right, forward. That's Harmony Rising. Are you with me? If you're with me, go to FatimaFernandezForColorado.com, hit the donate button, send me a donation, whatever you can afford. This is for Harmony. And then sign the petition. We need 8,000 signatures in 60 days. And let's rise together. Right, Colorado? Are you with me? Islam is as real as nonsense? Yeah. But we have people who, in America, you can worship whatever you want, and the government cannot tell you who to worship. That's the First Amendment. So, live, and let people worship whoever they want. God controls each person, each soul in America. I'm not here to control. I'm not here to force people to worship anybody. I'm here to protect each soul's rights to life, liberty, and property. I'm here to restore and rebuild in harmony. Are you with me? And I'm here to make all these Catholics in the Democrat Party jump over to Harmony and go kneel at the pews and pray. Are you with me, Catholics? This is a wholly political party. And if you want to know what my position is on things, you can ask me. I did vote for Trump. Yes, I did. Yeah, I vote for whoever I wanted. And at the time, that's who I thought God told me to vote for. So, Jesus does love me, and I love him. I do put him first. Always. We're aligned. My will, his will. We all will together. He controls. So, he controls his election, he controls his party, he controls me. I am his daughter, and I will admit that I need to do whatever he wills me to do. So, I do have a stance on each and every issue, from abortion to education, and in this election, I'm here to mediate, not take sides, discover truth through conflict, and bring peace. Hey, Ben, how are ya? So what do you think about the Pope? Anybody here? What do you think about the Pope? About the Pope. What do you think? Love him, hate him? Scared? Worried? Okay. Want to chat? So, you want to ask me questions? I am a paralegal. I'm a mother. My son is 14 years old. He's a pain in the butt. Do you want to know why I launched Harmony? I already told you, I think. Because we need somebody like me who's bold enough to just run. I don't know, I got courage. God gave me that courage. I have no clue why. It's Fatima. You know? Yeah. Anyways, ask me questions, and I think it's time for me to. What am I gonna do? I do need volunteers. I need a campaign manager. I need a treasurer, and I need volunteers to help me move this party. And I need volunteers to help me move my campaign. So I'll be launching as soon as this party is launched officially. Um, well, it is. Harmony is launched. That's the movement. It's gonna go global. I mean, it's gonna be big. So, yeah. So, this book right here, it's called The Spelunkian Explorers. It's the case of the Spelunkian Explorers, and it's really, really cool. So, it's about some explorers who get trapped in a cave, and they eat, they murder somebody to eat them. And then once they get rescued, they face trial for murder. And you get to see the judges deliberating, and each judge has a different philosophy. And so this is the best. It's really, really good. Lon Fuller's case of the Spelunkian Explorers is a classic. It's not real. It's a fictitious legal case, and I remember reading it, and I was like, I'm not for cannibalism. I think I'd probably die before I eat somebody. But these men acted not only willfully, but with great deliberation, and after hours of discussing what they should do, again we encounter a forked path, with one line of reasoning leading us in one direction and another in a direction that is exactly the same. This perplexity is in this case compounded, as it were, for we have to set off one explanation incorporating in a virtually unknown precedent of this court against another explanation which forms a part of the taught legal tradition of our law schools, but which, so far as I know, has never been adopted in any judicial decision. So I recognize the relevance of the precedent cited by my brother concerning the displaced nut and the defendant who part over time. But what are we to do with one of the landmark of our jurisprudence, which again my brother passes over in silence? This is Commonwealth versus Verlegen. Though the case is somewhat obscurely reported, it appears that the defendant was indicted for larceny of a loaf of bread, and offered as defense that he was in condition approaching starvation. The court refused to accept this defense. So it teaches you all about how judges rule. So in America, um, most Americans have no clue how judges interpret law. And maybe that's the confusion that they get when they hear cases like Tina Peters get convicted, because lawyers and judges, they have their own legal opinion, and they have a way of thinking about things. Some judges eat breakfast, and some judges are, you know, positivists, you know. And in Tina's case, Tina Peters, her judge, she got a legal positivist, and uh, so Tina, I don't know how many of you here know Tina Peters. Do you know Tina Peters? Anybody? So Tina Peters was 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 tried by the judge in her case was Judge Matthew Barrett. So a lot of people think that these judges are Democrat or Republican, and that's wrong thinking. Judges aren't Democrat or Republican. They might be conservative and liberal, but they are legal. They have a different mind, different than the politician. And so her judge was recognized as a fair minded approach throughout the trial, and but she was convicted because the law was ambiguous. And so when the law is ambiguous, some judges use discretion, and that's what happened. And so he was a legal positivist. What happened here? Oh, my candle fell. So he's a civic-minded institutionalist judge. He his rule of law. His rule of law emphasis. Um, his sentencing made clear that violating procedural rules and institutional trust, even under the banner of patriotism, deserves accountability. And so this is hallmark positivist thinking. Laws must be followed regardless of personal belief or moral justification. So he's a minimal reference to moral philosophy. Unlike a natural law judge, Barrett didn't ground his sentencing in broader moral theology or higher natural rights, but instead cited harm to public trust and the legal system. Um, he has system integrity focused, and his rebuke that Peters was no hero but a charlatan shows a strict institutionalist view, valuing system stability, legal process, and evidentiary fact over ideological and emotional appeals. So he did not just eat breakfast, but he's not a pure positivist either. He does seem concerned about civic consequences, which nods towards communitarian or pragmatic blend, but a cold Kelsen style absolutist. His emotional tone and emphasis, I feel bad for Tina, on danger to the community suggests a judge who values societal order, not just technical obedience to the law. Um, his likely judicial philosophy is legal positivist with civic Republican leaning. He's the kind of judge who upholds statutory law strictly, prioritizes institutionalized trust, believes violations of civic process undermine democracy, and he uses the courtroom as a space to reset legal norms over personal crusade. So what does that mean? Is he a legal realist? So I'm more of a legal formalist. I'm not a pure. I am a positivist, but I'm not a pure one. I'm a compassionate positivist. I'm not cold, but I'm not a legal realist, and I would never be a judge. That would be too boring. Um, but legal realists, leaning with formalist undertone. Um, yes, he is a legal realist. So he does have breakfast, but it depends. Some legal realists are liberal, and some are more conservative. Um, so if you get a little more liberal, you might get an activist. If you get a more conservative, he's more traditionalist. I That's my opinion. Yeah, I'm a paralegal. Isn't that amazing? I'm a paralegal. I'm not a lawyer, but I will be. Yeah. Um, and so Tina Peters is judge. His so his public rebuke also considers real world um, effects, especially on actions shaping public trust in elections. He seems to have engaged the narrative behind the law, asking not just what happened, but and why it matters uh, in society, or I mean socially. Formalists, he has a formalist element. He upholds statutes and procedures strictly. He didn't interpret the law creatively to excuse Peter's behavior. So he appears to be a moderate realist, grounded in legal process, but aware of social and political context. He doesn't twist the law to match ideology, but he does use the courtroom to speak to the public. And he's likely, I'm going to say, he's likely a liberal to moderate institutionalist, appointed by a Democrat governor. So his language emphasized the protection of democratic institutions, election integrity, and the rule of law. Positions more often voiced from liberal institutionalism camps in recent years. However, his firm sentencing and lack of overt ideological activism shows he's not progressive in the activist's mold. So he's not partisan, but probably leans liberal institutionalist, defends institutions, processes, and democratic order more than ideology. That's a good thing. But the problem I have with Tina Peters is that I think the sentencing was too much. So if I were to win my election, for which I am going to win for governor, I think the sentencing was too much, and that is disproportionate and unconstitutional. So I would definitely be reviewing Tina's case and making a determination, and we'll move from there. Um, no data was stolen, and no one was harmed in her case. I just think that she did things procedurally wrong. Um, She got a fine for fraud. Um, so, in my opinion, I don't know. I'd have to look into it. Uh, Trump's judge. You want to know Trump's judge in New York? He's probably a realist, an activist. At legal realism, a lot of our liberal judges are activists. Um, Trump's judge was an originalist activist. Um, so I don't. I'm not an activist. What am I? I am a constitutionally a legal formalist constitutionalist who is grounded in natural law. um, I believe strongly with the founding fathers, and I am not a activist. I would not be an activist, Judge. I consider myself an advocate all the way through. I remember when I first just jumped on the bandwagon to activate and be more active in politics. Somebody told me that I'm an activist. I'm like, no, I'm not an activist. I'm an advocate. I might not be a lawyer, but I can still advocate. um, I speak up and I advocate for the marginalized. I seek to be heard and often operate outside the system. Um, I um, I don't mind marching and protesting. I'm pretty civil though. I do sometimes disrupt um, the status quo. Um, I don't prioritize um, emotions or ideology, so I'm not an activist. And I don't say this is wrong. Listen to me. I say, well, actually, I have said that, and no, nobody's really wrong to believe. In America, you can believe whatever you want. You're not wrong to believe it, but you're right. Your God-given right. Um, and there's a reason why the First Amendment holds. So I seek to be effective, and I work within systems, courtrooms, and legislatures and boardrooms. I honor both truth and structure, and this is, if I say this is unjust, and here's how we restore order, um, I'm going to say it loud and bold and be courageous about it. Um, it's a legal role, and it's a moral one too. So I'm a constitutionalist paralegal, a mediator, and a Catholic woman, and a civic reformer. And I don't scream, I petition. I don't overthrow, I intervene. And I don't protest for the sake of noise. I advocate for harmony. Although I have been frustrated a few times. Mm-hmm. But I'm not an activist. I'm an advocate. I don't break systems, I restore them. Activists demand change, advocates create it. And that's the difference. So I'm an advocate. And we can all be advocates, and I could teach you how. Because now I have a company called Harmony, And with Harmony, I'm a lobbyist, and I can teach you how to be an advocate for yourself. It doesn't take a lawyer. It just takes somebody who wants to learn the law and how to operate within it. So, until next time, see you soon.